like a kid who stays away from school.
The four teens first came together in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Two were still in high school when they organized in September 1949. They soon teamed up with Mike Egan, who was to remain their manager for the duration. 1 month later, the quartet sang for an audience of 1,600 in their first public appearance and did more than 250 performances in the next year. When tenor John Steinmetz announced in late 1950 he was going to enlist in the Air Force, all five decided to sign up and left Eau Claire in January 1951 for basic training at Lackland Air Force Base, Texas. Unfortunately, original bass Gene Rayberg developed a bone spur and was given a medical discharge. Fortunately, on April 10, 1951, Don Cahall, originally from Cincinnati, became the new bass. The very next night, the quartet sang the only three songs they knew as a warm-up for 6,500 people waiting for a delayed Bob Hope show. Lots of hard work and performing later, they entered and won the Central States District Championship in 1951. Believing they could make it into the top five at the 1952 International, they began a 2.5-month regimen of 6 hours of rehearsals, 6 days a week, on their own time. The convention in 1952 was the first of 5 to date held in Kansas City, the last quartet-only international, and typically 90 degrees plus. The weather was not as hot as the 14s, however, who drew crowds in the hotel lobby and became the second successive quartet to originate in Wisconsin, following the Schmidt brothers, and win the gold at their first international. They still hold the record as the youngest gold medal quartet. Lead Jim Chinook was 19, and Don Lamont, John Steinmetz, and Don Cahall were 20. For their triumphant return to base, the Air Force picked them up in nothing less than a B-52. A special agreement between the Society and the Air Force allowed the four teens to appear on both military and chapter shows, with Mike Egan doing all the coordination, virtually a full-time job. During their championship year, they traveled to all 48 states and appeared on the Arthur Godfrey Show, as well as with several other show business personalities. They even got their own private plane, a converted World War II canvas-skinned trainer dubbed the Bamboo Bomber. Starting in the summer of 1953, the quartet toured military posts throughout the world with an all-Air Force show called Tops in Blue. The show played to more than 160,000 military personnel of all branches, including frontline troops in Korea. Ending in the spring of 1954, the tour earned commendation awards, including a Roger, the Air Force equivalent of an Emmy. In the fall of 1954, Barry Don Lamont received an early release from the Air Force to return to college and pursue a teaching career. Thus ended the short but hugely busy and successful run of the four teens. The other three left the service in January 1955. A unique distinction as the youngest champions ever, the only military quartet to capture the gold, and an unparalleled record of more miles and more shows in a shorter period of time than anyone else. Our 1952 international champions, the Four Teens.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Don Lamont, Jim Chinook, Don Cahall, and their manager Mike Egan, the Four Teens.
All right.
Carol and them over there. 1, 2, 3.
No pencils.
The Society office received this letter from the Air Force. It states, on behalf of the Secretary of the Air Force, allow me to congratulate the members of the Four Teens on the 50th anniversary of their Barbershop Quartet National Championship. This dynamic group of young men played a great role in the service of their country. As America's ambassadors in blue, the Four Teens traveled the country and the world with the Air Force Tops in Blue talent show. During their active duty, they served with honor and delighted thousands with their music and their message. In honoring the Four Teens, we honor the fine tradition of service by a generation of America's young men in service. The youth of today, who follow in the footsteps of men like Don Lamont, Jim Chinook, Don Cahal, John Steinmetz, and Mike Egan continue to make the United States Air Force the greatest Air Force in the world. Again, our heartiest congratulations and best wishes to the 4 teens on the anniversary of their championship, and this is signed by Jeanette Minnick, Colonel of the United States Air Force, Chief Public Communications Division. And we have one of these framed for each member of the quartet.
That's terrific. Ooh, that's an honor. Huh? I'll tell you. Oh. There's your copy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Wow. We'd have been out here quite a bit earlier, but they insisted on us going into the makeup room to put some powder on our hair so that we'd look older than 14s. So, and knowing the efficiency of the society, they even brought a chief master sergeant to make damn sure we did. It's been a real eye-opener coming here after some 50 years, and an ear-opener too, thank God. But we want to thank all of you and the society, our gracious host Roger, and the AIC for making this the second most memorable event in our lives. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Your 1952 international champions of 4 teams.
That's it.